All my girlfriends are going to be jealous of me today. I get so many Facebook posts when you come in to visit us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Stop it.
Well, first, let me just say, I've known Richard since your career started when you went solo. I did not meet you before that. I was there at the first Roxy show. It was the showcase for Richard Marx. It was the loudest show I'd ever heard in my entire life. And I mean, he just exploded. And that just was, this is the 25th year mark of your solo career. So I got to give it
Thank you.
And let me just tell you a couple of things, just because I got to brag on you, because I really like you a lot.
Go on.
The first male artist to reach the top 3 with 4 singles from a debut LP. The first male artist to do that.
That's cool. Did you know that?
He just has written a song with Keith Urban that has topped the country charts, which makes Richard Marx, as a songwriter, topping the charts for decades. Woo! I mean, seriously, Richard. The street cred musically that this guy has is unbelievable. And every time that we have Lionel Richie here in the studio, he does nothing but say, you would be nothing without him.
It's true. Yeah. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, yeah, it's true. I can't even make a joke. That guy, I don't know. You talk about these people that come in and out of your life that are such catalysts, and he was such a major catalyst. I mean, I'd like to think that I would have found another path at whatever time was appropriate. But that happened to me when I was 18 years old. And, you know, I love to talk about what happened, mainly because it lets people try to understand what kind of guy Lionel Richie is. This is when he was leaving the Commodores, starting his solo career, and was arguably, maybe next to Michael Jackson, the biggest star in the music business.
Absolutely.
And this guy took the time to call me up in a little suburb of Chicago because he heard a demo tape. My number was on the back. I know that a friend of mine knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy.
Wow.
Literally, it's that much of a fluke.
So that works?
It works. Just give it to a guy.
Wow.
Give it to somebody. Make your
You want to
music.
have a career like mine? Just give your tape to a guy.
Some guy. I don't even remember his name.
That's how it works.
Oh, God.
But I mean, what does it say about him that he would call me up, cold call, didn't have one of his people call me. I literally pick up the phone, and it's Lionel Richie, and he's encouraging, and he's telling me how much he loves my voice. And, man, if this is your first couple of songs, man, you should hear my first couple of songs, man. You're so much better than I was at that time, and you should move to L.A. And so then I come out here after I graduate from high school, and he puts me, on his first record as a background singer. So, boom, I've got a resume right then.
And then all of a sudden, somebody needs a song. Richard's got, a whole plate load of songs. People start hearing what you've written.
Well, that's Lionel, too, in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, Lionel recommended me as a background singer to Kenny Rogers. And this is when Kenny was still, like, at the top of the charts as well. And so I went and had a session as a background singer for Kenny, thanks to Lionel, right? And I had 2 days booked. This is really true. A lot of people don't know this. I had 2 days booked with Kenny Rogers, and the end of the first day session, I overheard Kenny say to the producer, man, we just need that one more song. We need that one more ballad. And I went home that night knowing I had a session the next day, and I wrote this song, and I'm telling you, this is definitely a way to get fired. But I thought, I got to go for it.
I got to pitch it.
And so I waited for, I was physically shaking. But I had this moment where he was standing there, Kenny was standing there this day too, and I said, look, I'm really sorry to do this, and if it's not cool, just tell me because I'm new here in town, but I overheard you yesterday, and I'm a songwriter, and I mean, that's like almost as bad. It's almost as bad as the drummer from the band saying, I've got a song you should hear.
Right.
So
But
what
happened?
But again, kind of like Lionel Richie, what does it say about Kenny Rogers, who instead of saying, security, get this guy out of here, he turns to me, and I remember he stared at me long enough that I almost peed my pants. But he stared at me for a minute, and he went, well, let's hear it. And we went to the piano, and he said, yeah, I like this. We're going to do this. And he made some changes, so we became co-writers in that thing.
They do that.
Hey, I'll take 100% of nothing, baby.
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
nothing.
Right.
There you go.
And I had a #1 country song with him from that song.
What's interesting is that, again, you look at Richard Marx' songwriting over the years. I mean, can I just throw out the list of songs?
Yeah, please, because I don't think everybody knows all of the songs that you've written.
Right Here Waiting, Endless Summer Nights, which, I mean, right now in the summer of 2012, so great. Now and Forever, the love songs. I mean, the babies you have helped make.
Oh, I know.
I mean, decades and decades worth of babies.
I get a lot of guys come up to me on a daily basis and go, dude, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
no,
Well, I
get
hosted
that.
a love song show on the radio for years before I did this morning show. And Right Here Waiting was one of those songs that I got calls for every single night.
Love that.
Do you remember at the beginning, too? That was from the soundtrack to
Anastasia.
Anastasia.
It's a good song.
Yeah, that was a good
I
song.
like that movie.
We played, all of these songs. And I know that you've put out greatest hits and stuff, but man, that it seems to be, and I remember when you lived here in Los Angeles, you decided you and Cynthia are taking the family and you're going to raise them back home in the Chicago area. But there has been this whole singer-songwriter thing that exits to Nashville, and I just listen to country music, and it's just 70s rock with a twang.
Pretty much.
And all those songwriters, that were here have moved there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still viable, lot of sales going on in country. Why don't you do something like that?
I like the thing that Lionel Richie did was great, and it was, it just lent itself to his song catalog. And
you don't think some of your music would do the same thing?
I know that it would. I know that it would. And I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but to be honest with you, the only difference is that just creatively speaking, what I would be more interested in doing is collaborating, because I've worked with a lot of country artists, Keith Urban, Vince Gill, a lot of different people. I like the idea of new. I like the idea of looking forward. And so while I feel like I'm still a viable songwriter, I like the idea of picking 10 or 11 country artists and saying, hey, let's go write a song and do it together. Rather than doing my back catalog.
Right.
Because
Lionel was so lazy.
Yeah.
That's basically
and
what
see
you're
how that
saying,
worked out
isn't
for
it?
him? No, I think it was.
I get it, though.
And let's face it, Lionel Richie doesn't have time to do that. I do.
Yeah. Now.
But the fact that Lionel's record, I think I just read, is the second biggest selling record of the year
so far.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that kind of tells you that there's an audience out there that is dying for sort of that kind of songwriting. I just like the idea that that kind of songwriting can still happen and does still happen. Sometimes it's more under the radar. I mean, there are some amazing singer-songwriters out there that just aren't selling a bajillion records. But it's not like, I kind of get annoyed when I hear people say, oh, there's no great music out there anymore, or there's no great singer-songwriters anymore. Yeah, you just got to look harder. There are.